This video is for lesson 4-3. We will be posting column totals from our journal to our general ledger, and that is going to be our learning objective as well. Now there are several lines in the journal that contain amounts that are not to be posted individually. These include the forwarded totals and amounts recorded in special amount columns. The totals brought forward from page 1 will be shown on line 1 of your second page of the journal. None of these separate total amounts on line 1 are posted individually to the general ledger accounts. To assure that no postings are overlooked, no blank posting reference spaces should be left in the post reference column of the journal. Therefore, when totals are forwarded to page 2 of the journal, a check mark was placed in the post reference column on line 1 to show that no separate amounts are posted individually. So any line that has a check mark in the post reference column, that indicates that no posting is to be done individually for that transaction. So examples would be carried forward and brought forward, and then also when we recorded our cash and credit card sales, like the examples we have here. We will also put check marks in parentheses at the bottom of the general debit and credit column totals, and that indicates that the general amount column totals are not posted. We already posted all of those amounts individually. There is no place for these two totals to go. A check mark in the post reference column, it indicates that no amounts in that line are posted individually. On the totals line, the amounts in the special amount columns are posted. Therefore, a check mark is not placed in the post reference column for the totals line. So where we have totals here, we will not put a check mark in the post reference here. We do put a check mark in where we do brought forward and carried forward, which we learned in chapter 3. Don't put one in the totals line in the post reference column. We will instead be putting things underneath the totals, underneath our double rules. We have 3 amounts that we need to post as totals, and it's going to be completed very similar to how we posted individually. So our first would be our sales credit. We will go ahead and write the date of the totals, which this will be on January 31st, so we'll put that in. The post reference, this is going to be the journal page number, which is 2. And then this was a sales credit, that's what the column heading says, so we will record that as our credit and then carry that over as our balance. And the last thing that we need to do is take our account number for sales, which is 410. And there's no post reference column for our totals to go in, so instead we will put it in parentheses underneath the sales credit total. We will follow the exact same procedure for posting the totals for cash. You want to post your cash debit first because remember cash has a normal debit balance. So therefore if we post our debit first, we will have a positive amount in our cash account in our general ledger. So we'll carry forward our balance here. We have our debit of $7,120, that's our balance. And we'll put our account number 110 in parentheses underneath the debit column total. Last thing we'll need to do is post the credit amount for our cash credit column. We'll put in our date, post reference again, put in our credit, and then in order to calculate our balance, since we had a debit balance and we had a credit, we need to subtract the two from each other, and our debit is still larger than our credit, so we will have a debit balance. And then we'll put 110 in parentheses underneath our cash credit column. And I'll go over that too in more detail as well in the video I will make for the work together and on your own. So here we can see the completed page 2 of our journal for Delgado Web Services. All the posting has been completed with the exception of the totals line. Notice that the post reference column is completely filled in with either an account number or a check mark. You can see this image starting on page 108 going to page 110 in your textbook. After all posting from the January journal is completed, Delgado Web Services General Ledger is shown here and on the next several pages. Some of these we did not use. For example, we did not use insurance expense or income summary. or supplies expense, those ones we will use in Chapter 6.